Good afternoon. My name's David Rawlinson, and my product is called Personal Trainer. Personal Trainer, in a nutshell, is a way of attaching home exercise equipment to a home personal computer in order to add to the incentive a person would have in order to use that exercise equipment. You've got a 79% population that own exercise equipment presently that are choosing simply not to use it. We've done some studying into this, and by far, as in mid 90% of that population are saying simply find it boring. In these households, there is a very, very powerful piece of kit which could show masses more information. That piece of kit is a PC, a personal computer. If we can transfer the exercise information to that PC, suddenly the world is our oyster. We've got 10,000 times the computing power to be able to show the user of the exercise equipment interesting information about literally what they're doing. Then we start being able to produce fantastic 3D graphics. We start being able to offer our customers 400 miles of countryside terrain to cycle over. The Personal Trainer product is ready at the moment. We're requiring the £80,000 simply to aid marketing. No one knows this product exists at the moment. Thank you.
David Rawlinson is offering 15% of his company for £80,000 to help market his personal trainer product.
David, Peter, heard about it insofar as you've just explained, but how does it work?
Right. The first complexity we'd had was how to make it 100% compatible with cycling equipment. The one common element all this cycling equipment has is at some point the pedal will pass a fixed...
Don't give me an education.
Sorry.
Just tell me how it works.
We have a magnetic sensor and a small magnet. Magnet on the pedal, sensor on the bike, and it counts the rotations, times the rotations of that pedal. That's how it gets the speed. Buttons will get your steering.
And you've got a little black box that holds the information, then you go back to a computer, is that right?
You've got a little black box that speaks to the computer. There's a lead going between your exercise...
So I've got to put my exercise bike next to my computer?
Yes.
OK.
Yes.
And how do I watch going through the woods on an exercise bike?
Right, you'll sit on your exercise bike, you'll start the software package, and you'll see the woods in front of you. You'll be stationary. When you start cycling, at that point, it will say, I've got a magnet, I'm seeing a magnet.
So David, in my house, my computer is in my home office, so I've got to put my exercise bike in my home office?
Yes.
Don't you think that's a bit of a flaw in the product?
It's strange, actually. I went to a number of people, and perhaps that is the biggest weakness we have found of the product, and that has cost us a percentage of sales.
Almost straight away, the Dragons have identified a fundamental problem in David's product. Peter Jones wants to know if he's had any success with it so far.
David, how many have you sold?
130.
130?
130. And that's from no marketing apart from a website on page 62 of search engine, if you were.
I think the fundamental flaw is purely the fact that you've got to transport a computer system with all its cabling system, with everything plugged in. Every time you want to have an exercise, you're making it even more difficult for me to train now, as I have a problem with it at the moment. So it's not a reality. This is ridiculous, isn't it?
What we've done is we've done market research. The people we've spoken to in the gyms and in the cycle clubs and the like, a great proportion of them, first of all, specified that they would be prepared for a fold-away exercise bike to be near the computer in order to get this functionality.
Who did the market research? I've got a feeling it might have been you.
It was myself and a third party.
Yeah. Do you think that's independent market research?
That's a very good point.
David's pitch is going disastrously, and the Dragons are picking holes in his business, which seems to be riddled with fundamental flaws.
David, this is just ridiculous, and I'm not even going to waste my time, and I'm not going to be investing at all.
Sure, okay.
David, just to sum up where I'm at, not one for me, sorry.
Okay.
David, I'll quickly come in. In this format, you're wasting your time. No one's going to give you 80,000 quid for 15%. Quick bit of advice for what it's worth. It's free, so it's probably worthless, right? Get yourself a little machine that's got a screen on it that you can load your software into, that people can clamp on the handlebars of their bike, and it's got it all built in. It might cost another 100 quid to do it all together as a box. You've got a product. If you did that, I might be interested. At the moment, I'm out.
With 3 dragons already out, David's bid for £80,000 is collapsing. Only Duncan Bannatyne and Doug Richard remain.
David, you have just so badly misrepresented the situation. I'm in the health club business. I've over 100,000 members. 5 years ago, every bloody man and his dog was trying to sell me some computer thing that you stuck in front of the machines to keep my members happy. None of it worked. The only thing to get any chance of keeping somebody who's bored on a machine is a television screen. It's the only thing that works. I know from experience, nothing else works. 3D graphics is not new. I've had these screens on my cycle classes, and I've thrown them away. And I've put disco lights in because they don't work. Watching somebody going around some mountains and down some hills and up some hills doesn't keep you from being bored after about the second time of using them. You're just cycling down the wrong path, and I'm not investing. I'm out.
That leaves me. I simply disagree with your premise. I personally believe, notwithstanding that, that people buy exercise equipment and don't use it because they just don't want to exercise. And I therefore think that there's probably no demand for the products. So I'm out too. Good luck.
Okay, no problem. Thanks for your time.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Good luck, then.
In one of the shortest ever visits to the den, David Rawlinson has been thrown out by the dragons, who could find nothing at all in his business.
There's a dozen similar projects on the market now that nobody can sell.
You've obviously had all these products before. People are there's
know what we did?
There's no interest.
Do you know what we did? We got them in free for 6 months. They didn't work, we threw them out.
David, they didn't seem to like your product, did they?
Well, I'd call it about midway, I'd say. In fact, I think that a couple of them were just teetering on the edge.
No, interestingly, they did get to the weakness with this product, that it needs to be next to a PC. They got there straight away, didn't they? You had to almost as your first answer say, that is the weakness of my product.
It's strange, actually. I was deliberating about whether to actually say that in advance or not, and I actually got it recommended that I don't say in advance and wait for them to get to it and then explain it.
They got to it.
And they got to it.
Well, we wish you luck. Dozens of budding entrepreneurs come into the den with inventions they want to turn into million-pound businesses. Daniel Prive brought in his wireless helmet camera for filming extreme sports.
So the idea is that somebody could be out surfing wearing a helmet similar to this, and it sends a signal back to a receiver unit similar to this. So this could be like in the car park, for example, recording information.
Daniel's headcam was a big hit with the Dragons.
You've got my captive audience already, instantly.
Daniel, I think it's a great product.
I think the product's good. I like it. I'd probably buy it.
Peter Jones couldn't contain his enthusiasm.
Wouldn't it be great if you're on the piste
Yep.
and you're flying down there and then 2 seconds later it's downloaded to your mobile phone, you can show your friends the run you just did?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
I want to buy one now.
Until, on closer inspection, the Dragons discovered a potential problem.
How have you protected that? Have you got a patent?
Right, this product itself, we haven't actually got a patent on it.
You haven't got any protection at all?
At the moment, we haven't got any protection on this product itself.
Unfortunately for Daniel, despite bringing in a great product, without a patent, it would always be a vulnerable business.
I just can't understand why you didn't get a patent number. It's been exposed. And so for that reason, I'm out.
Anybody can just set up in competition with you.
The problem with your business is it's really vulnerable, and for that reason I'm out. I don't think the business can work.
You got me on the product, But then you lost me when you said there was no protection around the product.
Okay, yeah.
And for those reasons, unfortunately, I'm not going to invest either.
The Dragons are always looking for the next great British invention. Has Dr. Mike Kane from Loughborough come up with it? He's looking for £100,000. But remember, Dragon's Den rules dictate he has to get at least that, or he goes away with nothing.
Hi, my name's Dr. Mike Kane. I'm a lecturer in sports technology at Loughborough University. I'm here to try and raise £100,000 to commercialise a garment technology that we call RespiVest. RespiVest is a garment that, when worn, loads your breathing muscles. In other words, it helps you train your breathing muscles. Essentially, what you're looking to do is provide a resistance to the breathing muscles. So when your rib cage opens, as you breathe in, as we all do all the time, there is an added resistance. You'll appreciate we've made a small number of these to test the concept of providing an elastic load around your thorax. Having pitched the concept under confidentiality to brands such as Nike, their initial enthusiasm and interest for the garment has shaped the development program that I'm proposing. Thank you for listening.
Dr. Mike Kane is willing to give away 20% of his RespiVest concept. He already has contacts with major brands and a team with a proven track record. Theo Paphitis is impressed.
Can I ask you a couple of questions, Mike?
Of course.
If you've already spoken to Nike,
Yeah.
who are impressed, and we know that they've got huge pockets, massive pockets, much bigger than poor little immigrant boy like me,
Yeah.
or my colleagues here,
Yeah.
right? Why didn't they just say, here, Mike, I'll chuck you 100 grand to keep you going, but we've got the rights on it?
Of course, they could have stumped 100k. What I would say is that was a little while ago. I didn't have this. I talked to Nike. They invited me to their US headquarters to meet their head of development. They were clearly interested in the concept. I said, I haven't got a prototype to show you, and I don't have any efficacy data. But do you like the principle? Yes, we like the principle. We do want to see a working prototype, and we do want to see efficacy data. Bring that back to us, and then we can talk more seriously. That's, how it was.
Do you have efficacy data now?
We have some efficacy data. Yeah, we have efficacy data based upon the small number of proof of principle concepts that we've produced. My business as an academic is about being rigorous in that area, but I know that the theory is sound.
With a major brand interested in the concept once proven, the business looks promising. Mike is confident this can be achieved using the £100,000 investment to complete his prototype. Peter Jones wants to start talking figures.
Hi, I'm Peter. Where I want to know, being a potential investor in this RespiVest, is actually what is the potential return? Give me a figure. I'm going to sell 3,000 of these to Nike under license at £25 each. We make £20, and my profit in the first year is going to be X.
Sure.
Just try and focus on the money, because that's all I'm interested in.
I'll answer that exactly. We believe we can sell 500,000 units with the right brand. Okay, 500,000 units that would be equivalent to around $2.50 per unit.
The company is going to receive $1.25 million on 500,000 units on the basis of license.
It's basically a royalty income.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Okay.
I'm focusing on the money because we're now in a seven-figure sum. It's now getting quite interesting.
Okay.
With a potential licensing agreement with a major brand in the offing, Mike's RespiVest could make millions for an investor. But Duncan Bannatyne is unimpressed by fitness gadgets.
So I employ about 300 personal trainers, and they would say you're wrong.
Can you expand on that?
They would say you don't have to overload the muscle to build it up. They would say you shouldn't use things like that for your muscles. You should use the muscles yourself. You should tense muscles yourself. You should pull muscles yourself in. You should use your muscles.
Well, look, RespiVest is a very clear, focused product. It allows people who wish to train a difficult-to-train muscle, breathing muscle, to do so in a comfortable, effective manner.
Do you know
there is a market for people who believe that this will work because it will work.
Do you know the breathing muscle can be trained during Pilates classes?
Sure. You can
No material.
Look, what you're basically saying, you're undermining the basic premise of why people buy ab machines. Are you telling me that people don't buy ab machines? Because they do. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. So people buy an abdominal cradle or something they sit on to do crunches. Why? Because it trains their abdominal muscles, or they believe that it does. Some are effective, some are not effective. I'm telling you that this is an effective way of training a muscle that people know they want to train. We're all aware of our breathing. We suffer breathlessness when we run, when we swim, when we walk. If you're an older individual particularly, we know that your breathing muscles degenerate. Okay? You might not be talking about someone who could benefit from a personal trainer. That's not accessible to every 60-year-old emphysema sufferer. This is a product they can buy which will substitute, let's say, some of the benefits from personal training.
So your market is a 60-year-old emphysema sufferer. That's your market?
No.
The people that can't afford personal training?
What I've said is, this is a platform technology. You can embody this principle into a garment technology that can be used for elite sports people. You know, I've worked with the England rugby squad, training their inspiratory muscle.
Mike,
right
stop.
through to...
Stop.
Can I just first, before you do?
No, because I think that where you're going is so misguided that it is absolutely worthless to go down this thing. I'm very familiar...
One last thing. Listen, Mike.
Fine.
Mike,
Continue
before Doug comes in and
science.
gives you the money, I just want to say, I just think what you're talking about is a load of rubbish. I think you're full of hot air, and for that reason, I'm not going to invest, and I'm out.
Just to respond briefly, because that's quite a criticism. I'm an academic at the UK's leading sports university, Loughborough University. I have a worldwide reputation for publishing good research in inspiratory muscle training. With all respect, you've made an informed decision, but it's not an expert decision. I have a team of people who've published PhDs on this kind of work, and it will work because we know it will work.
I'd say well done, firstly. I think you've put Duncan firmly in his place, and I'm very personally pleased that you've done that.
I don't think he has.
I'm certainly of the same opinion of yourself. I don't think there's anybody sitting here, including myself, that is ever going to intelligently or intellectually be able to compete with what you're discussing and what we're talking about.
Mike is refusing to be intimidated by Duncan Bannatyne, and this has caused a rift between the Dragons. Mike's looking for £100,000. Will any of them be prepared to side with him enough to invest?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but what this really comes down to is a bet. It all depends on one buyer's or three buyers' decisions at the end of the day, correct?
Yes, but £100,000 reduces the risk of Nike not saying yes.
I actually think you make your case very well. I think that there's a lot to be said for what you're describing. You've answered the questions quite reasonably, but you and I differ on what kind of risk is represented by this kind of opportunity. I'm out.
Thank you.
Despite his impressive pitch, the two Dragons who are yet to invest in this series are out. Rachel Elnor and Theo Pafitis have also come to a decision.
Mike, can I just make my position clear? I just have a rule in business which I don't invest in anything which doesn't turn me on or which I don't understand. And on both counts, this one isn't one for me. So just so you know where I am, I'm out.
You have pitched excellently. Well done. And I actually believe you and believe that you believe in the product. I can't assess the odds. That is the issue here. And for that purpose, I will not be investing.
One Dragon is left. Peter Jones was initially impressed by the potential millions that Mike's recipe vest could make. Will it be enough to persuade him to take on the risk and invest?
I put £100,000 into your business.
Right.
It won't be 20% by the time I finish with you.
Yeah.
But let's say I got more. What happens now if you've got another product? When you go back to Loughborough tonight, a couple of your other guys turn around and say, actually, look, we've got this real hot one.
Yeah.
You've got £100,000 of my money now invested in a so-called product that we're going to go and talk to Nike. What happens if actually it doesn't go anywhere? We really do struggle with it. Are you not off onto your next opportunity?
You'll appreciate you're asking me a question that I can only answer. I can't validate that. It's very difficult for someone to say, I won't go off and do something else. But, you know, you've got to appreciate that
I don't think it is. I think it would be very easy for you to validate the fact that actually you could say to me, which I wanted the response to be, Peter, do you know what? If you were to put £100,000 into this product, I will do nothing else until this works. At least I'll spend the next 12 months of my life working flat out for you because you're backing me. That's what I want you to say, and you haven't.
I haven't, but I can tell you why I haven't. This product does not require me working 100%. You might like that, but it's not what it actually requires. It requires a discrete team with very specific skills to focus on their task to get this product into the marketplace.
With only one dragon left, Mike is playing a dangerous game. He needs £100,000, but won't commit 100% of his time to his recipe vest. His attitude has pushed Peter Jones away.
Just to be clear, unfortunately, I'm not going to be investing today, but thank you anyway.
I think that's everybody who's...
That's everybody up, Mike. Thanks very much for your time.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Yeah, thanks very much.
Dr. Mike Kane has lost out. Despite Peter Jones being interested, Mike couldn't give him the level of commitment he wanted for a £100,000 investment.
You choose to center on and ask your questions around the one thing that I think he actually does have authority on, and all the other things that is completely uncertain from a business investment point of view. So I'm just curious, why is it that you choose to focus it there?
There's a lot of if it was any good, Reebok would have taken it up. Nike would have taken it up. It'd have sold the bloody thing. It doesn't work. Because he knows about it doesn't mean he's right in what he says.
Tell everybody else the secret of how you don't let them intimidate you, because you just held it totally, didn't you?
No, I'm not prepared to take criticism that's absolutely wrong from somebody who doesn't know what they're talking about.
I thought in a way it sort of helped you a bit that was the terrain he started on, because you were just in so much more authority and you were able to use lines like, well, actually I have a PhD in this, blah, 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 and it was
I hope it didn't come across as being arrogant. I felt it was an aggressive stance by one of the panel, and I felt it did win favour with the other panellists, the other dragons. You know, they were basically all agreeing with me, so I think I got that bit right. It was unfortunate that I didn't take that momentum and secure the funding, but you know, that's life.
Other entrepreneurs who came and failed in the den included Alwyn Thomas, who wanted a £75,000 investment in his off-road skateboard.
You're familiar with the board sport market, skateboards, surfboards, snowboards. A recent introduction has been the all-terrain board. As you can see, basically it's been described as a snowboard with wheels.
The product was designed and ready to go, but Alwyn's market research left the dragons unimpressed.
So how many of these devices sold last year in the UK?
I haven't got the exact figures.
So how do you know that it's selling snowboards to one if you don't know how many have been sold?
I haven't got exact figures.
You don't have any
up to date.
Did he have a number?
I can't actually remember.
I wonder how many people buy them, don't you?
Yes.
With no idea of how big or small his market was, the dragon sent him skating away.
Sorry, mate. You've done nothing to convince me I wouldn't be better off going to a casino, putting my £75,000 on the red or the black.
Hilly Fackler thought his interactive computer would make the hotel concierge a thing of the past.
They know that everything that a concierge can do, this machine can do as well. It can tell them what's around, it can give them door-to-door directions, they can book a cab, they can book a table, etc., etc.
But unfortunately for him, he was pitching to dragons who preferred human contact.
I love going to the receptionist or the concierge in a hotel and asking for directions. And they get a little map out and they say, "You're here, sir, and that's the restaurant." And you go along this road and you get the personal touch.
You don't just want to be given a list of restaurants nearby, you want to be told where's the best Italian, where's the best Chinese, what's the inside knowledge.
For Theo Pafitis, there was a more fundamental problem.
Are you the only person in this market?
I believe that I've looked and I've searched the internet. I could be wrong.
You're wrong. Forget the internet. Get off your backside, go to hotels, see it for yourself. This is as old as some of my classic cars. You know, I'm out.
Craig Ian McAlpine came to the Den looking for £150,000 to set up a luxurious multi-million-pound private members club in Leeds.
The club comprises a handful of bedrooms, business meeting and workrooms, a bar, restaurant, day spa facilities, as well as club rooms and quiet areas.
But Craig's ambitious plans made no financial sense to the Dragons.
I'm actually in the process of buying a private members club in London for about a quarter of the money that you're talking about. And that it's just so bizarre that you think you can spend that sort of money and get a return and provide those services.
This sounds like the best opportunity I have seen to blow my money in a very long time.
Peter Jones left him with one consoling thought.
There is a congratulations, you probably are the fastest person ever to come in the Den and go back out without an investment. So there's one positive you can take away from it.
Next to face the Dragons is Marnetta Viegas from Oxford. She needs a £100,000 investment, but remember, Dragon's Den rules dictate that she must get at least that, or she goes away with nothing.
Hello, my name's Marnetta Viegas, and I'm here to pitch 4 Relax Kids. Once upon a time, there was a girl called Marnetta Viegas who had a dream to teach children to relax. So she made a wish upon a star and rubbed her magic lamp and set up Relax Kids, where children believe and parents can breathe. Marnetta wrote 2 books, 5 CDs and 3 packs of self-esteem cards. In 18 months, she had produced 18,000 CDs and had a turnover of over £74,000. But then one day, she found herself in the Dragon's Den. Sitting in before her were 5 dragons. They were very scary and were breathing fire, but she knew they had hearts of gold. Now these dragons were sitting on a treasure chest of £100,000. They agreed to give her the £100,000, and they all lived happily and peacefully ever after. The end.
Marnetta Viegas is looking for an investment to expand her Relax Kids company, but her fairy tale pitch has left the Dragons confused as to what the business actually is.
I thought you were barking mad when you came on and started reciting like that. And now I'm pretty certain. But before I go on, look, let's get down to brass facts. What did you get it on? What did you sell, darling? We don't know. You haven't told us.
I'm sorry.
Show us.
Okay.
Have you got a tape recorder? Have you got the sound? Can we listen to it?
You can't listen to them, but you can have a look at them. There's a book.
He's desperate to look at it.
I've written the 2 books, and I've produced the 5 CDs.
But what's on them?
Are you saying...
Sorry,
Are you saying the tape recorders tell the story that's in the book?
Okay, let me say, I have to admit, I missed this out of my pitch, and it is the most
important bit you left out.
That it is fairy stories transformed into meditations. I'm sorry, I just forgot it.
Ah, now we're getting there. Well done, Marnetta.
So, imagine you're Jack, you've planted the seed in your garden, you climb the beanstalk and you float in the clouds, relax your hands, relax your legs, relax your arms, and you drift off. And so I used my meditation techniques, my love for children, and also my love for fairy stories, and I put them all together.
The Dragons have finally established what it is Marnetta is actually pitching. Rachel Elnor wants to get straight to the point.
Can you just go back to a few basics without all of the kind of fairy tale stuff? You said you've made 74,000 turnover so far. Who have you sold these to? What have you done to do that? You said you produced all, was it 18,000 CDs?
Generally, so far, it's been word of mouth, and they've got it into lots of health food shops. So initially, I set off going into the new age market, and then I just realised that this is actually more mainstream. It's not just for the new age market. And WH Smith are going to be ordering at the end of the month.
How much are they going to order?
I don't know. I don't know. There are going to be 7, sorry.
You've had a meeting with WH Smith?
It's been telephone calls, but they have...
Because there's a long distance from making a telephone call to WH Smith buyer and actually them ordering at the end of the month. Can you just enlighten me a bit further on that?
Marnetta is floundering under the scrutiny of Rachel Elnor and is unable to answer even simple business questions. Peter Jones suspects that the business side of Relaxed Kids may not be Marnetta's main focus.
Marnetta, I have to say, you know what? I'm absolutely terrified to actually keep a conversation or even ask you a question. Because I'm just worried that actually there's some sort of hypnotic stuff going on in this room.
Oh, really?
I'm going to go into some sort of hypnosis and turn around and say, I want Relaxed Kids and I'm investing £100,000. Because I think you must be on some sort of film or theatre or all kind. You're an actress, aren't you? You've got to be.
I originally did study performing arts.
Yeah.
I also act and I direct theatre shows every year for charity.
And in the business, would that be, if I gave you £100,000, would you be doing the same, make a profit and give it away to charity? Yeah.
No, to charity.
Sorry, you wouldn't. No, so you would, okay.
Actually, do you know what? To be fair, you've picked up on a very interesting point, because I didn't set up Relaxed Kids to make a whole heap of money.
Did you just actually say that you didn't set up Relaxed Kids to make money and yet you're coming to us for investment? You do understand there's some sort of a relationship.
I understand that.
Could you kind of clarify that for
I'm
me?
being honest with you. I set up Relaxed Kids because I saw a need.
Manetta, I'm sorry. Could you just tell me why you would want me to invest in a company that doesn't intend to make money? Just idle curiosity.
I think now I do intend to make money.
Marnetta has finally worked out what the dragons want to hear, and she's already decided what she's going to do with her profits.
I would like to put on a West End stage show with all the money I get. You know?
Just was.
But you know.
Manetta, I want you to know something just right now. I'm sort of here for other reasons. So, with the best of luck, I'm out.
Thank you.
Doug Richard isn't buying into Marnetta's fairy tale. Has she managed to entice any of the other dragons into giving her the £100,000 she needs?
I'm really struggling in my mind why I'm even giving you the time of day to listen to you at the moment, because I don't see a business, and yet I'm feeling that I am listening to you. And I'm worried that any further I'm going to invest, and I just want to make it clear now, I am not investing in this, but wow, what a surreal feeling.
I think you're lovely.
Thank you.
But I'm not going to invest in you. I'm sorry. I'm out.
Well, I just can't make my mind up if you're lovely or cuckoo, but I'm not going to invest anyway, so I'm out.
Thank you.
Marnetta's pitch for investment is all but lost. 4 dragons are out, and Rachel Elnor is the only one left.
Marnetta, I hate to be the wicked witch here, but I think you've done very little today to allow us to take you seriously as a business proposition. I think, you know, the final nail in the coffin is saying that you're not interested in making money. Until you can put together a serious investment proposition, you're wasting your time. Sorry.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Marnetta is leaving the den empty-handed. She managed to charm the dragons, but not enough for them to part with their cash.
Pinch me. Pinch me, please. Oh, that was a wonderful way. I think that was really... Did you feel really calm then?
Oh, she calmed me down.
No, I actually was getting more anxious by every passing moment there.
My palms have got really hot. Look, they're sweating.
That's not calm, Peter.
Oh, Marnetta, are you feeling calm after that rejection?
Actually, I don't feel too rejected at all. I can understand exactly what they were saying. And, you know, if I'd put my business head, I could have actually fought back. Not fought back, but I suppose I was in the... One day I put on a business head and think, yeah, I can make lots of money doing this. And then the other day I put my compassionate head on, and I put the wrong head on today.
Now, the other issue, of course, they got hung up on was you saying you didn't want to particularly make money. It was all sort of very new agey, wasn't it? But actually, I think you do want to make money, don't you?
I think I do want to make money. I do want to make... And I know these products have huge potential, really, from the experience that children and parents and teachers have had from them.
Other budding entrepreneurs who failed to prize cash from the Dragons included Grant Dench and George Paler, who brought in their revolutionary sick bag.
We are the Queasy Partners. The big secret, the absorbent pad, which will take any warm bodily fluid and turn it into a gel.
The idea for the Queasy sick bag came from personal experience.
I don't know about yourselves, but I've got 2 children who are, they only have to sit in my car and they feel ill.
I've got 6 children and, you know, they come in the car quite happy. You know what I mean? Is it perhaps the way you drive?
No.
But for Peter Jones, the design itself was the problem.
If you imagine now I've got this and I'm being sick all over the bag.
Okay. Yeah.
So would it not have been better to have created something that had maybe a little metal rim around it, so when you open the bag, it pops open? I'm now being sick, because by the time I'm feeling sick, I've got to unwrap that, I've got to get the bag ready, I've got to get it out of its wrapper. I've been sick.
Carlton Beckford wanted £200,000 for his phone directory full of adverts for companies with free phone numbers.
If you saw 2 identical adverts, one with a free phone number, one with a normal telephone number, which advert would you choose?
The one with a normal number.
I would always choose the one.
Always. The one with the normal number, because that tends to be the guy round the corner who's the small operator, who's reliable, not the big plumbing company that's going to charge a fortune.
Theo Pafitas wanted to know if the calls were free for everyone.
Quick bit of information, if I ring on a mobile, how much do they charge the customer?
It's not free for mobiles.
It's not free?
It's not free for mobiles.
How many people make calls from mobiles?
A lot of people.
Millions and millions and millions. Carlton, love you lots. Not this time.
Thank you.
I'm out. Thank you.
Roger Bennett and Alan Scrace brought in their computer system, which allows the user to have 3D pictures sent back from a robot.
What we can do with this stereoscopic device is give people the ability to judge distance and depth in a much clearer way.
The pitch started well.
Is it possible that you could go towards Duncan with that?
Yes.
Can I press a button to fire? This one.
But in the end, the detailed technicalities sent the Dragons off one by one.
It uses a single camera to capture both images. Therefore, it has a single camera, single bandwidth requirement when transmitting images back to the operator. This is particularly an advantage over the twin camera, twin bandwidth requirements of the traditional system.
One lesson from the Dragon's Den is an idea doesn't have to be massive to be successful. You can make good returns by striking it big in a small niche. That's what David Lees from Buckinghamshire hopes to do, but he needs a big investment of £225,000.
Hello, my name is David Lees. I'm here today to seek for an investment of £225,000 in my company. My company is called Modal. We design and manufacture plasma stands and plasma-related mounting systems, primarily for the UK market, but we have exported worldwide. I'm going to pause for a second. We have, as I said, we have, this is, as I said, one of our smaller components. We actually manufacture much larger monitor stacks or screen arrays that you might see on big advertising hoardings, and they can be up to 6 metres long and 3 metres high with up to 60 plasma screens on it.
Nerves are threatening to wreck David's pitch. He's going to have to pull himself together fast or risk being sent from the den before he's even started.
For the investment of £225,000, most of this investment is being used to invest into tooling and capital items to enable us to increase our productivity so we can expand into the European and American markets. We feel as a company we do not have the business acumen to actually go into these markets, and this is the primary reason why we're here to see you, is because that's the skill we lack. Thank you.
David's looking for an investment of not just money, but the Dragon's time and experience in his high-end flat-screen TV stand business. He needs the Dragons to help him increase his turnover and expand into international markets.
David, can I just make it clear where I am on this? You were really specific at the beginning that you needed a Dragon who had international business experience, which I don't, and I'm just going to declare myself out so you know where I am.
Thank you for listening, Matt.
It's a poor start for David. By making his requirements for an investor so specific, he's immediately alienated Rachel Elnor. Will any of the other Dragons be interested?
David, my name's Theo.
Hello, Leo.
Where's the business operate from?
West London.
West London. How many employees has it got?
It has me, myself.
Me, myself and I?
Right, that's
all
it.
Three of you?
All three of me, yes, just myself.
And where do you operate from?
We have a 2,000 square foot unit in Hedgeley, which is a village just outside of Beaconsfield.
And you go there, unlock in the morning, all on your own, no mates,
yes,
right? And play football in there? What do you do?
No, I work about a 70-hour week. I am responsible. What we have is a network of manufacturers.
So who does it? So you do no manufacturing, just components?
Yes.
What were you doing before you done this?
I was the development director of a medical systems research and development company. I was a salaried director. I worked there for 5 years. I had 3 patents accepted and about 16 registered designs accepted. But the reason I left there was quite simply because I had, as I said, I'd raised their turnover by $19 million and I'd doubled their share price since I was there with the new products we'd launched. I asked the company to actually become a shareholder and they refused, so I served my 6 months' notice and left.
And then went to do what?
It started Modal.
David has an impressive track record as a top engineer in a multi-million-dollar company. Peter Jones wants to know if he's continued this success working for himself.
David, what's the cost of that product in front of us now?
That product there, actual cost is $264, I think.
So about 260 odd pounds. And what would that sell for?
582. I sell about, this year I will be selling over 300 of these units.
So you'll sell 300 of these at an average margin of about £250?
Yes, I work on 100% markup. So if it costs, see if this costs £100, I would sell it for 200.
David's already making an impressive profit margin on his niche products, and his company is in good shape. But he has ambitious plans for expansion.
Your goal is to retool so you can broaden.
Yes.
And if I understood you correctly, your new kit, the retooled stuff, is going to cost you less to produce, therefore you can sell it for a lower price and therefore offer to more people.
Yes.
Okay, what is the size of the larger commercial market that you aspire to enter?
The whole AV market in the UK is $3 billion.
I'm sorry, the whole AV stand market?
No, the whole AV market.
I don't give a the whole AV market. I care about the AV stand market.
I would say there's probably about 100,000 stands sold in the UK alone last year.
In the commercial market?
Yes, in the commercial market.
And you sold how many?
We sold about 250.
So you sold 250 of the 10?
Yes.
Of the how many?
100,000.
Thank you. You sold 250 of the 100,000. Yes. What portion of that 100,000 unit market will be your accessible market after your costs have dropped?
I would say I would be able to pitch to 90% of that market.
Okay.
After investment, David's potential market would be massively increased, transforming his business and making it a tempting prospect for any investor. With this in mind, Theo Pafitis wants to check how much profit he's made in the last 3 years.
What were the profits for 2, 3 and 4?
I think 2002 was £23,000.
Okay, and 3?
That was about £46,000 to £48,000.
And 4?
That was £67,000.
And when did you finish 5?
We've finished 2004, 2005 was finished in April.
Okay, so your year end is April, and you made £67,000 profit.
Yes.
on
£225,000 turnover.
225,000.
256,000. My product.
256. So around 250.
Yeah.
You made 67,000.
Yes. Clear profit.
Clear profit.
What's your projections for you next year?
We expect to turn over £500,000 for...
No, just profit. Just give me the pre-tax profit.
Pre-tax profit, we hope to make about 120, something like that. Double it again.
£120,000 pre-tax profit.
Yeah.
It's clear that David has huge belief in the success of his business and sees its profits doubling in the next year. Doug Richard, who hasn't invested yet in this series, doesn't share David's confidence.
3 years from now, maybe you'll be how big according to your
According to my estimations, we should be turning over about 7 million a year.
7 million a year
Yeah.
in 3 years?
Yes.
That's a rather big jump.
It's a
from
very big jump,
50 to 500 next year without the marginal investment. I'm concerned that you would not actually achieve these volumes that you seek to achieve. I think that it takes more than, I think it's going to take more than just money to get you to the next stage. I think it's going to take a full-on management team, production system, distribution. I think there's a rather large body of work ahead, and that offers considerable risk. For those reasons, I'm out.
Two dragons are now out. Despite David's track record, Doug Richard believes it'll take so much to achieve his ambitious plans that it would make an investment of £225,000 a huge risk. Duncan Bannatyne, though, wants to know if he's ever found anyone else willing to back his plans.
Have you tried borrowing the money from the bank?
Yes. They said yes.
They said yes?
Yes.
So you could borrow it?
Yes.
Why don't you?
Because I said I'm intrinsically a one-man band. I run a very effective business, but what I don't have, I have incredible engineering skill. I lack business acumen. Now, as I said, I
don't think you do, because I think you've done terrifically well, if these figures are right. I don't think you lack the business acumen.
Duncan Bannatyne is impressed with David's achievements so far, but still needs to be convinced that he has the vision to make his high-end TV stand business a multi-million-pound concern.
What's the exit strategy?
We've had 3 offers to purchase the company. The most recent was Panasonic Corporate Systems of America.
How much?
3.25 million, with me working for them for 1 year to do the handover.
They offered you £2.5 million.
3.25.
3.25. They offered you 3.25
5 million, yeah. Now that has been a verbal negotiation, and we have both agreed on how we'd like to go forward. But what I don't want to do is actually put that in writing until I have someone that has the business skills to negotiate that deal properly.
With a massive company like Panasonic already interested in buying David out for millions, making an investment has suddenly become incredibly tempting. Is Duncan Bannatyne about to make his first investment of the series?
I'd be willing to invest all the money, the 225,000.
Yeah.
But I'd want 50% of the company.
50. Why would you want 50?
Because I think that would give me a sufficient return for my investment.
You think so?
Yep. I think any less than that wouldn't give me a sufficient return.
David came in looking to sell 15% of his company. Duncan Bannatyne's offered all of the money, but wants half of David's business. Can he justify asking for such a high percentage?
How would you provide me with the necessary business skills to get the business, to actually help me create the increased turnover for Europe and the United States?
Most of my ability that we have shown over many companies to buy in management and buy in all that information, buy in all that knowledge. Okay. It's all buyable.
I'm fully aware of that, yes. That's what I'm really here out shopping trying to do.
But Duncan Bannatyne isn't the only dragon who's seen the potential.
Well, I'm very interested. My offer to you would be practically identical to Duncan's.
Yes.
But it would be no less than 50%.
What would you bring to the party?
Bringing in my business expertise.
Yes.
I'm a pretty successful shopkeeper.
Yeah.
Not in this sector. I'm in pencils and lingerie.
Okay.
Stationery and lingerie, basically. But I know the sector very well. an early adopter of all the products that we talked about earlier. And you'd get my business ability.
David, you just had 2 offers.
I know.
Are you accepting them?
There's another bloke to
Do
go.
you have anything to say?
I'm going to pull out.
You're going to pull out.
You don't need 6 people involved.
Peter Jones is out. Will David be willing to sell half of his equity to get the expertise he needs to transform his company? It's the hardest decision of his business life.
Would you go for 49%?
No.
Why not?
Why do you ask?
Well, because at the moment, I've spent my whole life being an engineer. I've spent my whole life being paid £250 for a patent that has earned companies millions.
Yep.
You are just taking that little bit too much for my whole life.
What difference does the 1% make to you? I don't understand it.
It's psychological. That's all it is.
No.
It's a gesture.
Yeah. No, 50%.
50%.
I'm going to stick to that, and for exactly the same reason.
I'll make it slightly more complicated or slightly easier for you, depending on how your views are at the moment. At the moment, you've received an offer from me, and you've received an offer from Theo. I'll give you a third option. I'll split the money with Theo. You're going to get $225,000 for 50% of the company, whether you take it from me or him or a split between us.
You get 2 for the price of 1.
With the 2 of you involved at 50%, I will accept that offer.
Okay, done. Congratulations. Well done.
David has done it. He's parted with much more of his company than he intended, but has twice the business experience, with Theo Pafitis and Duncan Bannatyne investing the £225,000 he came for.
There's plenty of people who will pay for a premium, decent product. And if we get a decent premium product at a decent price, I think you can capture a big slug of the market.
Do you know what you're actually going to be doing? You guys are going to be going through a management team building exercise.
Yeah.
Well, David, who could have known there was so much money in plasma screen stands? Phew, you pleased with the offer?
I am very pleased with the offer. One of the important things is there's 3 partners or 3 people involved, which means we can never get into deadlock. Unless both of them disagree with me, which might happen, but I don't think so, because their expertise is business.
But you have effectively now sort of given away half of your business, your baby, really, haven't you?
I have. That's a huge amount. But as I said, half of nothing is nothing, but £500,000 is very nice. Thank you very much.
Now, do you think they understand how much work you want them to do? I was a little bit confused.
Yes, I think that's the shock they're going to get, because I work very, very hard to make this business, and I'm going to expect them, especially owning a quarter of it, to work equally as hard to actually prove to me that they can do the job, because this was a 2-way interview.
Are you happy, or are you feeling, oh, I might have made a mistake now?
I might have made a mistake now, but I am happy.
Well, very well done. We're
Thanks
happy
a lot.
to. It's been an amazing 6 weeks in the Dragon's Den. Today's investment of £225,000 is the biggest ever. And the total amount offered to budding entrepreneurs this series is over £700,000. Well, a nice little earner for those who did get their cash, but remember, for them, this is where the hard work really begins. Goodbye.
Well, you've got a deal if you want to accept it. Great.
Thanks. I'll take your offer.
You got a deal?
Congratulations. Be good to work with you.
Congratulations. Well done.
To find out how some of the entrepreneurs who pitched in the first series of Dragon's Den have fared over the past year, tune in tomorrow night at 7 o'clock on BBC Two.